welcome to Boca's Briefcase, where we talk about the current topics of the day that hopefully everyone's talking about. And thank you to the Boca Raton Tribune for giving us this platform to share with the community's topics that are going on in our community. So today we are going to talk about real estate and what to do and not to do in the real estate market. But before we get there, let's see what's current going on. The Boca Raton Tribune notified us all yesterday that Palm Beach County commissioners issued a mandatory order to wear masks in public places. So I was just sharing that information in case you didn't know about that order yet. I think actually violation might be a misdemeanor. So if you want more information, go to pbcgov.org and they'll have the whole order laid out for you on where you should and should not be wearing masks. I'm pretty sure outside, as long as you can social distance, it might be okay not to, but get all that information from pbcgov.org. And now let's introduce our awesome panel today. I'm very, very excited. I've worked with all these amazing professionals, so I can't wait for them to share their value with you. We have Danny Sidenberg with Cross Country Mortgage and Lending, over 22 years lending in our community. So Danny, welcome.
Hey, Hilary.
Hi. We have Lisa Feltrinelli, who has over 25 years of real estate, and she's the future host of her own reality TV show in real estate.
You know me so well. Thank you so much for having me today, Hilary.
No problem. And Christopher Rossitto, who a lot of people don't know is a really great gourmet chef, I understand, and handles real estate in Broward County, and then meets us up here in Palm Beach sometimes too. So welcome everybody here to the show. I think if you guys aren't talking, you might want to mute yourself because there's some feedback from somebody, but I don't know who. And Danny, I'll start with you. Weren't you a coach, like the most famous coach in Boca Raton or something?
I wouldn't go that far. I did used to coach high school football in Boca and West Boca back in the day.
Yeah, I thought so. There was like some articles about you being like the best coach in all of Boca Raton history. That was pretty cool. But let's get started so I'm a real estate attorney, I get the closings and whatnot, and I get a lot of questions. What's going on in the market? Should I be buying? Should I be selling? Can you close? So let's address all those things. Can lenders lend? Is this a good time? What about interest rates? That's what we're going to address right now. We're also going to address some really important tips. If you are about to buy, sell, or refinance, what not to do. So Lisa, I'm going to start right with you. You're right here locally, Palm Beach. Tell me, what do you see out there? Is this a good time? Let's start. Is this a good time to sell? If you are a homeowner, you want to sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Inventory is low. All right. So low inventory supports a seller's market. So if you're even considering thinking about putting your house on the market, now is the time. A lot of people also ask today, are things harder to get to the closing table? There's a lot of steps that might be a little bit more challenging, but all of the professionals are adjusting appropriately. Chris, what are you seeing in your day-to-day out in the field?
Chris, you're on mute because of me.
I think that the inventory is low. I think that there's been an interruption in the market flow right now. I still believe that there's a great deal of amount of buyers that didn't really go away. I think lending has been easier to get. So I think people are still wanting to purchase now.
Now, Chris, are you speaking more in Broward County? Is that what you're seeing with the low inventory?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really do the market stats for Palm Beach. But as far as Broward County goes, inventory is only at 3.9 months, which for low. It was only 816 homes that actually sold during May, which is half of what it was a year ago. But I think that's just a little bit of a blip in the radar is what happened. I think it's bound to come back. I think the real estate market is strong.
Okay. Yeah. So then I'll move if people do want to buy. So it sounds like there might be low inventory in Broward, but extra inventory in Palm Beach. Is that right? So if people want to buy, Danny, is it more difficult to get a mortgage now that COVID's begun since March? Is this hard? Is this a hard time to get a mortgage?
It's really not, believe it or not. There's some myths out there, but at least from my company perspective, where I work, we have not only have we not slowed down, we've quadrupled our business. We've done a ton of refinance, coming off the biggest refinance boom in my career here in the last 60 to 90 days. Lesser credit on conventional has tightened up a little bit, and the jumbo lending market has gotten a little tight. But your typical Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan up to $510,000, and your government loans, your FHA and VA, are with us and across the board strong as ever. No, didn't skip a beat. Again, I can only speak for our company, but most of what I'm seeing out there is people got ahead of the curve on this, and we're still closing, loans in under 30 days.
So you're busier than ever. So where do you see the market going, or rates going in the next 12 to 18 months?
You know what? Based on what I'm seeing everywhere, I think there's a lot of uncertainty out there as to, with the spikes in the virus and the markets. But I think ultimately, we're going to stick here. These are historic lows. Don't people absolute historic lows. And I think based on what I'm seeing and based on what you're seeing out there from the markets, we're going to hang in this level for the next 12 to 18 months. I know that the Fed talked they're not going to raise the prime rate over the next 12 to 18 months, which doesn't directly impact first mortgages, but it does have a really big, it kind of gives us a guide as to where rates are going.
That's amazing because interest rates are so low. So, so let's get to, I'll go back to you, Lisa. If we're out, like if you're going out right now, what are you seeing out on the field with buyers and sellers when you're out there? How is this process going on with the COVID issue? And, and then again, you have the mandate, the mask order yesterday. So how are you handling this? And how are buyers and sellers handling this?
Well, first off, I think more than anything, this pandemic has shown that having a place to call home is priceless. So now more than ever, it is important to have a realtor, for a buyer and a seller that can turn to for support and expertise. But, as Florida businesses are opening and the economy is continuing to open, it remains vital for all of us to follow the recommended health guidelines, practice social distancing, take the necessary precautions to safeguard each other and our homes. And everybody that's going into homes right now are doing that, as well as wearing masks, gloves, sometimes shoes off, booties, things like that. So that hasn't changed.
So, and this is for Chris and Lisa. Can you guys, there's someone's got feedback again. I don't know where it is, but I'm not good at this. So for Chris and Lisa, if you are trying to sell, are they letting people in the home to see it? How does that work? I mean, either of you can take that.
Yeah, we're actually giving enough notice to allow families or individuals to remove themselves from their home. And that way people can come in with, the masks and the gloves and social distance. Sometimes we're taking turns depending on the square footage of the property so that the customers can see the home, assess anything, and then the agents will come in or out after. So it really depends on the size, but just maintaining the social distancing and keeping the masks and the gloves on are going to remain, pretty important. Chris mentioned something about the statistics in Broward. I pulled some statistics in Palm Beach last night that I wanted to share with you guys. So if people are looking for 3 or 4 bedroom homes in the Boca Raton area, let's just say, between a $300,000 and $400,000 price point, there are only 61 homes on the market. And I'm referencing non-country club style communities, no major HOAs. So 61 homes and a maximum purchase price of $400,000, 3 to 4 bedrooms. That's huge. But mostly it's telling you, if you really want to sell your house, now's the time. And if you want to buy, don't be afraid to buy. I get a lot of customers that say, well, it's so competitive. I don't want to be in this bidding war. Somebody's got to secure the contract. Why not it be you? And there's more to a contract than just the purchase price. So the way that a good agent structures a contract can bring some really valuable pieces to the seller for consideration.
And so, Chris, what have you seen since April?
Once again, I think that there might be lesser action going on in the market, especially with only half the homes that sold in April as it did a year ago. In May. But at the same time, I still see action in the market. If people are still buying, I mean, I had a home that was only on the market for 7 days, and it got highest square foot value price sold in the community. So it's there, and it's amazing how quickly it's happening. People still want to buy. People still want to sell.
Yeah.
I just think that there's been an acclimation here between what happened and what's going forward now. I think of it as, it's a pond. You threw a big rock into the middle of it with the interruption that happened to the U.S. economy, and it'll just start to have those ripple effects that come from that. But eventually they get to shore and they go away. So I think it'll eventually come back to a normal. The COVID is been an issue with. I just had one where they weren't almost going to let the guy move in because it was a 55 plus building and they wanted all these extra precautions. It still got done. It just, you have to take into account it might take a little bit longer.
Right. But the associations, we've heard a lot of cases here where associations were trying to postpone some of these closings because of interviews, this and that. But I think we've gotten past a lot of those issues. And I didn't mean to cut you off earlier, Dan, because you were talking about the lending side and how low the interest rates are. It's a great time, but not just buying, but what about refinancing? What if you don't want to buy or sell and you just want to refinance? Is this the time to refinance? I sort of know the answer to that, but I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Anyone who took out a mortgage over a year ago should definitely at least look into it. All you have to do is, whoever your mortgage professional is you just provide a recent mortgage statement. They can put a quote together. We're doing refinances here with in most cases with no appraisals. And for W-2 employees, we're doing it with pay stubs and a W-2. So, we're streamlining the process as much as possible for the client so that the stigma of the painful mortgage process goes away. But it definitely makes sense. I'm seeing, like I said, my company is literally quadrupled its volume in the last 90 days as a company nationwide, primarily picking up on the refi side. As we're starting to also kind of attest into them, we're also starting to see our purchase business picking back up as people are getting a little more comfortable on the sell side and on the buy side, and that things are settling down and that they're going to have stability with their employment and their income.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot because you're not going to want to quote an interest rate, but give an idea. If you're sitting out there, you're a homeowner, and you have no idea what interest rates are, what's the ballpark range that you're seeing? It's not 10%. I mean, where are we within a few points? Where are interest rates bouncing around?
I'm seeing conventional 15-year fixed for my clients in the mid to upper twos. I'm seeing 30-year fixed, at the 3% range. This is all, credit pending. And I'm seeing what we would call our government loans, our FHA and VA loans, in the 2.75 range. All of this is without charging the client.
That's insane. So for anyone watching, interest rates are depending on credit and other issues, between 2 and 3% up and down. That's insane in the history of interest rates. So if anyone's thinking of refinancing, we on our end from the legal side, and we do the title and closings, you don't have to be afraid either. We're sending part of our team as a remote notary to the closings themselves, COVID, sitting outside, signing for 15 minutes. So all these companies, law offices, title agents, lenders, the realtors, from what I've seen here from the law office, everyone is transformed their business to make it COVID safe. And the closings are still occurring. So the question is, the inventory, like we started talking about at the beginning, and Lisa or Chris, you could address this. If you're sitting here watching this from New York City or Canada or South America, and you're thinking of wanting to buy here, should people be thinking about wanting to buy here in South Florida, Palm Beach, or Broward?
I'll answer that first. It's a great question. I am seeing, and I think most realtors will attest to this, is that there are a lot of people transferring here from New York, Long Island, Boston, Syracuse, and there might be some tax increases going on up there, which would make it another reason for them to come to sunny South Florida. I think that most importantly, what never is going to change is if you're a financed buyer, the first step is to find out, what does this look like for me? What is, what's the first step? What am I buying, a second property, an investment property? Is this going to be my homestead property here in Florida? So finding out what that looks like from a financing perspective, like calling Danny, that's step number one. From there, you will find out what type of payment loan structure you're going to be going with. And then one of our, expertise agents here, we can start allowing you, to educate yourself on all the different locations and cities and what they have to offer, close to the beach, close to shopping, and be ready to help people.
That's a good point, though. I totally skipped over that. If someone's about to get a loan, Dan, what should they not be doing, or refinance? What should someone absolutely not be doing? You're about to get a loan, or you're in the process. Don't do what?
Don't quit your job.
Don't quit your job.
Don't go from being a salaried or a W-2 employee to a self-employed employee. You'll need 2 years, at least 1 year of history on that. And, kind of a piggyback on that, which ties into COVID, Hilary, is if you are furloughed from your job, once you are back on the job with one pay stub, you're going to be okay to close your loan. So don't do that. And then the other thing to be careful of is just know that if you're looking to refinance and or purchase, if you have taken advantage of the opportunity to that the banks and lenders have been presenting to people, where they're allowing you to postpone your mortgage payments, all lenders are going to require you to have all your mortgage payments up to date. So if you took a 90-day furlough on your mortgage, you are going to need that to be up to date before you can close on it.
Right. Can you make a major purchase? Like, if you're going through this, can you go out and buy a car? Can you open a bunch of credit cards? Should you not do that either?
No, absolutely not. I have a do's and don'ts list that I send to my clients, but when you're doing a mortgage, it's the biggest transaction of your life. Try not to do anything else during that 30-day window. Stay employed. Don't make major purchases, things of that nature.
Okay, I think so. That's so important because of COVID, people are going through so much change. So if you're thinking about like a big change or a refi, you should definitely speak with a mortgage banker or professional lender like Danny. So I want to take a brief second because just for our viewers, next week is the one we've been talking about. We're going to be talking about crime. So if you love crime, we have got some criminal specialists on here. It's definitely going to be a bit of a controversial program. So join us. And also so you can know certain rights that you have and this and that. So it's going to be a very fun show next week because crime is fun. No, that's not the best logo. Crime is fun. No, that's not what I mean. The discussion's fun. We mentioned it last week. And then the following week, we'll have hopefully someone in HR and a doctor here and people talking about if you're being forced to now go back to work, what can you expect in the workplace? Can you get fired? What if you have COVID? All those things. What are the tests that are going to be done when you go back to work at most major companies? So that's going to be really neat to hear. That is a little preview to the next couple of weeks. So I think it's really important that we go around the panel and because this is all about giving value to the community, if everyone could share something that they think provides the most value. If you're watching now and think about your viewers, they're thinking about buying, selling, or refinancing or lending, what's something of value you can offer them from your professional standpoint before that you end the program? I like to leave everybody with some value. So Chris, why don't we start with you? What would you like people to know that's very important in your opinion?
Well, I mean, finding out the value of your home, and really, as Lisa had mentioned too, when you're as a buyer, the first part of the process is to speak to somebody like Danny. If you're going to sell your home, the first part of your process is to get a valuation on your home, find out how long it's going to take to sell, find out how much it's going to sell for, and those are things that I can do as a real estate agent for you to give you an understanding of your baseline if you're going to be looking to list your home. And get the most money for it, and go over some plans to do that for you.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, thank you. We have some nice comments here. Lisa, what value you want to offer the community in this time, very unusual time in the world?
Yeah, well, we've touched on this, but just to expand a little bit, we're seeing a variety of different buyers. And so to speak to our current, not just people transferring here, but our current Florida homeowners, there's a lot of people asking me, especially now, how do I invest in a property? You know, this is only going to make our rental market even better. People transferring here or making moves might not want to secure a home and buy something. They may want to rent for a year and figure it out where they want to be. So for people that are actually looking to invest in a property and be able to rent it, there's a lot of restrictions, especially in condos, and knowing the bylaws. So, you know, reaching out to a real estate professional, starting there first and saying, okay, here's my objective. This is what I'd like to achieve. This is, you know, the HOA I would like to pay a month, no more than this. You know, start there. There are a lot of options out there. And especially if you go to my website, calllisa.com, there's some pretty cool tools. You type in an address and get buzz on when things come on the market and off the market. It's pretty cool. But a lot of good stuff going on out there today.
Oh, and Chris, also, can you mention how people can meet you or contact you if they have questions? Chris handles the Broward market and sort of South Palm Beach, and Lisa handles all of Palm Beach and whatever Lisa tells us. I've worked with both realtors. They're amazing.
I mean, you can contact me at 561-870-8669. I don't necessarily have a website. But you know, you can feel free to reach out to me and contact you. And my email address is chris@rossittorealty.com. That's ROSSITTO realty.com.
Thank you. And Mr. Sidenberg, most famous coach in Boca Raton history. Tell us, you know, what piece of value would you like to share coming from the lending side? It just sounds to me that this seems to be the time with the interest rates as they are, a time to take advantage of this market.
Absolutely. From the purchase side, what I would tell people is that it's always beneficial to shop from, you know, rate quotes. I always recommend that to clients. But what I also say is if rates are relatively close between lenders, it's also about the process. So if everyone is rate sensitive, and I get that, but you also want to work with a lender who is going to make sure to get you closed on time and make the process as seamless as possible without you walking away from the process, you know, cursing them out. You want a great rate, by all means, but you also need to make sure you make your dates within the contract, including commitment and closing. So that would be my advice: is make sure you're working with someone you trust and that you're confident with who you're working with.
Danny, how can people reach you? You're with Cross Country Mortgage. I know you're based here in Boca Raton, but I think you're licensed all around the United States. So anyone that wants to refinance or sell anywhere, borrow. So how can people reach you?
Yeah, so we can lend in all 50 states. I have individual licenses all over the place. For me personally, I was looking for a business card to hold up. My cell phone, easy, 561-901-4907. Or you can email me directly, DannyS@myccmortgage.com, and I'd be glad to answer any questions I can.
Sorry, I muted myself because I'm trying to control feedback. But no, so I think my takeaway from this is that buying and selling and refinancing are completely going forward. There's COVID precautions. There's mobile notaries, people wearing masks, and they're, you're able to do this even if you're out of state. So that's what we've seen, at least from our end. You can buy or sell from anywhere. You can close from anywhere. They have all kinds of accommodations to do that. So I see this as a good market to go forward. That's my takeaway from this panel. And thank you all for being here so much. I really appreciate it. And again, if anyone has any questions, you can always reach out to me, Zalman Law, and I'll connect you with these three. This is South Florida, and we spotlighted these panelists because I've known all of them for a long time. They've worked with some of our biggest clients, and you can trust everyone here, and that's what means a lot to me. Even my family has worked with all three. So that's important in South Florida. Definitely work with people that are recommended to you. Check their backgrounds, and because you're wiring money, be careful of scams. That's the other thing with wiring too. Before you wire any funds, we've seen this on our end. always call the recipient with a number you already have, not from the email, and make sure those wire instructions are correct. Don't open emails with links. This is what's happening now. People are trying to take advantage of everyone being on the internet. So be very careful and make sure you have a good team with you to prevent wire fraud. But thank you to our panelists today. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the Boca
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate your time, future reality hosts. And I will see everybody next Wednesday at 2:00. And thank you to the Boca Raton Tribune. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Great job.